Beloved Saints, today's 5-minute message of redemptive history is about Phannias, chosen by casting lots in the genealogy of the high priest from the 6th book of the Redemptive History series, the Eternal High Priest of the Covenantal Oath. Revolts often occurred in Judean society while it was under the rule of the governors commissioned by Rome. These revolts were usually led by the zealots, and many assassins arose to kill leading officials from the Roman government. General Vespasian suppressed the Jewish revolt to a certain extent, but when he became emperor of Rome in AD 69, his son Titus began a campaign to conquer Jerusalem. Titus besieged Jerusalem from the 3rd month of AD 70, when the Passover was being observed, until the city finally fell 5 months later. According to the writings of Josephus, more than 1 million Jews were killed and 70,000 were taken captive. The temple was completely destroyed by fire set by a Roman soldier. All this happened merely 7 years after the temple of Herod had been completed in AD 63. As the Jewish revolt swept across Judea, the zealots began to take power. During this turbulent period, the zealots chose the last high priest, Phannias, by lot. Phannias was the son of Samuel, and he was the last high priest of Judea. He was not from a high priestly family, but rather chosen by lot by a representative of the zealots. The zealots had sought the authority to appoint the high priest by craftily imitating the way David had chosen the 24 divisions, which he had done by lot. This was a display of the extreme corruption of the Jews during those times. Wanting the high priest to become an accomplice to their deeds, the zealots broke the tradition of the law and appointed the priest as they pleased. The new high priest Phannias was not only logically unworthy of the high priesthood, but he did not even know what the high priesthood was. Like a clown who gets dressed up before going on stage, the Jews clothed Phannias with the high priestly garment and instructed him as to what he was to do in each process of the sacrifice. They enjoyed the sacrifice worship as if acting a play upon a stage. The sacred dignity of the high priest was completely dissolved, and sacrifices became a spectacle and a joke. Some priests standing at a distance could not contain their flowing tears as they watched Phannias performing the sacrifices. They sorely lamented as they watched the ritual and proceedings of the holy sacrifices turn into a spectacle. The Jewish historian Josephus wrote that no one, not even a king, could become a high priest if he was not of the line of Aaron. So he did not write further of Phannias. The Jewish war broke out while Phannias was high priest, and he served for 3 years until AD 70, when Jerusalem was destroyed by General Titus, the son of Emperor Vespasian. The people who led the revolt used the Holy of Holies in the temple as their headquarters, displaying how people had utterly neglected and trampled upon God's temple and its holiness. Beloved saints, Judea was destroyed by Rome in AD 70 because the holiness of the temple where God dwells became defiled, and the sacred dignity of the high priest was completely dissolved. Everyone, when the temple becomes unclean and the high priest falls spiritually, God departs. In Psalm 78, verses 59 to 61, it states, "When God heard them, he was furious. He rejected Israel completely. He abandoned the tabernacle of Shiloh, the tent he had set up among humans. He sent the ark of his might into captivity, his splendor into the hands of the enemy." I pray that we will live our lives centered around the church or the sanctuary of God. Let us do our duties as spiritual priests so that God will not abandon us and that he will walk with us always. I bless in the name of the Lord.